we don't create our own brain, we can't truly be responsible for the choices that follow from it. The idea that we can be, I like to call the myth of responsibility. So yes, we make choices, but we do so with a brain that we didn't choose, in circumstances not of our making. Of course, we can decide to change aspects of who we are and the way that we live our life, but the way in which we want to change and our success in doing so will be determined by how we already are as a result of genes and experience. The implications are far-reaching. Whether we're the star pupil or a dropout, motivated or lazy, disciplined or distracted, it's all ultimately a matter of luck. In the end, luck is what separates the rich from the poor, the saint from the sinner, the prisoner from the judge, the powerful from the powerless. So notions of credit, blame, punishment and responsibility cease to make much sense. But not everyone agrees. These ideas remain particularly threatening to the systems of power and privilege that dominate our world. But it's worth pointing out that this view is increasingly taken for granted in the scientific community, and it's been endorsed by some of the greatest minds in history. So does all this mean that free will is an illusion? Well, it all depends on how we define it. If free will refers to the ability to act in accordance with the beliefs and values we hold, to employ reason and learn from our mistakes, then it's certainly within our grasp. But if free will is a capacity to be truly responsible for our actions, then no, we don't have it. Now, if ultimate responsibility is a myth, it follows that no one is truly blameworthy. Of course, this doesn't mean we should let violent criminals or corrupt bankers walk free. We still have a right to defend society from those who pose a dangerous threat. And it's still important to establish incentives for socially beneficial behaviour. The trouble is, the more we pretend that a lawbreaker is truly responsible for their actions, the more we blind ourselves to the deeper causes of their behaviour. And this just increases the chances of reproducing the conditions that enabled that behaviour to occur. And perpetuating these conditions, poverty, inequality, corruption, is always the deeper crime. And the same principle applies to each of us. We can't take credit for being more virtuous, dedicated, or courageous than anyone else. Luck has been the decisive factor in the life of every person that's ever lived. Yet the myth is continually reinforced by major religions, by positive psychology bestsellers, by the courts, and by much of our political culture. Without a doubt, it's a highly convenient way to justify extreme inequality of wealth and power.
Not for you.
If poorer nations in the global south can be blamed for their poverty, if addicts, refugees, prisoners, the homeless, the sick and the unemployed can be blamed for their predicament, then social and economic systems are easily excused. The responsibility myth makes it seem that people get what they deserve. It helps to justify inequality and the economic system that produces it. When you realise that had you lived someone else's life, you'd be doing exactly what they're doing, a profound equality emerges. One that prevents us from putting ourselves, in any deep sense, above or below anyone else. This kind of empathy can be a revolutionary force for good. That kind of empathy, when multiplied across society, is a powerful liberating force, which in this time of turmoil and crisis, is our best chance of turning conflict into peace, division into unity, and hate into compassion.